Hey guys, and welcome back to our third installment of Third Row Posse, where we break down what our favorite movies, TV shows, songs, and now albums from the 90s. We have covered 1990, and last week we covered 1991. And this week we are shimmying on down to 1992. But before we get into our choices for this week, I'm going to allow my co host Gavin to say hello to the listeners and um, share how excited he is for this week's episode.
Well,
How you?
hello, listeners. How we all doing? Yeah, this week's going to be a really good week. So it is. Well, this year. Well, I think next year for me is going to be my favorite year, 93, because I was doing it today. And I was like, yep, so many good stuff came out. So I am ready for this week. Let's go.
Yes, I think the closer we, the further we go down the list, the higher the odds that we are going to end up picking the same thing. I feel like that's a pretty good a bet. I'm assuming because as I gotten older, I started really getting into music and movies and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's going to happen before this series ends. So I guess as we move down, we're going to have to make more than two choices to avoid that from happening. So, what do you think we should tap into first this week?
I think we should tap into songs first.
Okay. Okay. Well, songs, I think we're going to have two different sounds of songs again, but um, I don't know because you wasn't familiar with at least one of the songs that I picked last week. So let's see if you are familiar with my two choices for this week. So
No, no,
the
I
first,
have one choice. Fingers crossed that you pick.
I'm sure I did. I'm sure of it. So the first song that I chose this week is "Free Your Mind" by In Vogue, which was a song that I used to hear a lot um, on radio stations here in New York. And it was just a really popular song. It had a lot of, uh, which I don't know, maybe someone can correct me, but it just seemed like there was a lot more bands around that time. So you either had three women groups like TLC or SWV, or four women singing groups like In Vogue. And that was definitely a song that stood out for me out of that year. Um, so since you only have one song, I'm gonna let you sandwich your
No, no,
song.
two. I've got two. I'm all right.
No, go ahead. I insist.
Right. My first choice is Ugly Kid Joe's Everything About You. That was the summer anthem around here. So
Okay.
it is just
Okay.
great, great track. So it is. If you haven't heard it,
Um, I don't
telling
know.
you.
I think I'm gonna have to listen to it. Maybe I know there's a lot of songs that I do recognize by the song itself and not so much of the title. I think that's probably one of the songs. Um, but okay, all right. Sounds good. Uh, and my second choice, of course, is "Save the Best for Last" by Vanessa Williams, a former Miss America. Yes, former Miss America, um, beauty queen, actress, singer, um, model, everything else under the sun. Um, I think that's just another song that just really it has that 90s sound. Like some songs just sound really timeless to me from that period. The producers and stuff, there was a certain sound that they was going for when they were producing a lot of songs back then, and that's just one of the songs that kind of just stands out for me.
Oh, not the song I was thinking of, but there you go. Now, I've got two choices. Do I go down the rock route or do I go down the R&B route? Uh,
Mm,
uh, I'm going to have to go down the pop R&B route because this song is
okay.
so iconic, and it's Boys to Men, End of the Line.
Yes,
Now, how can we not include that in 1992? You know,
that song. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I said. I just feel like the early '90s. A lot of those songs were just. It just not to say there's not a lot of really good songs of today, but
mm,
it just feels like there was a lot of thought, a lot of creativity that went into those songs back then. And yeah, honestly, I feel like that's a really good choice.
it was either going to be that, or if I went down the rock route, it would have been Stone Temple Pilots Plush. So,
Okay.
but
So
like,
is that a
end of,
side B choice?
I don't know, because like I thought it was going to be Boys to Men's going to be the side B choice, but seeing I've got side A, we'll stick with that.
Okay.
So we'll have to like, it's iconic.
Okay. All right. So those are our choices of songs this week. Now, album. Albums, I feel like I do have an album choice that
Mm,
even if you didn't choose it, I feel like you would agree it should be on this list for 1992.
right, go.
Dirt by Alice in Chains.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that album, his voice, um, I just feel like there are just so many artists who are no longer with us who has such a distinctive voice, like Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington.
Scotland.
Um, yeah, you know. Um, and I don't know. I feel like despite how they left us, I feel like even Kurt Cobain, I feel like I don't know how morbid this would sound, but I just feel like some of them just wasn't supposed to be around for
Mm,
very long, so their art tends to outlive them because they were here for um a short period of time.
yep.
So, but for those who have never heard that album, please go listen to it. I mean,
What's your song of choice of the album?
oh, I have my choices. I do like what is it? Junkhead.
Mm,
I do like that track. Now, don't get me wrong. The meaning of the song can, be a little, you know, but
mm,
I still feel like it is a beautiful song. Um because of just that era, that time, that sound. But if I had to choose one song off that whole entire album, it would be Rain When I Die. And
Oh,
I'm almost certain that that song, because I've listened to that album a lot this year, I'm almost certain that that song will be on my Spotify list
mm,
next month. I promise you it will be. I feel
that
like it
or
will be.
Void is iconic. Not so.
Yeah, yeah. But I listened to a lot of Alice in Chains and Crowbar this year, so
Mm,
those two bands is gonna pop up. But yes, that is my first album choice. What is your first album choice of this week?
I am going to go with Def Leppard's Adrenalize. So I have to keep,
Okay.
I have to keep it UK based. So they over here. And
Yes.
Leppard is
You,
my band, so I'm going to have to stick them in somewhere.
all
So
right.
plus all the songs in that album is pretty good. So
All
it is.
right. All right. All right. Um. Okay. Well. Okay. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna add the albums to a
Mm,
playlist. I'm
I
not
don't
sure how we're gonna figure it
think
out,
yeah,
or maybe we could just we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll like create a social media post
post. Yeah.
um showing every album choice of each year. Okay. Uh, well, my second album choice is obvious because I feel like she kind of dominated the charts this year when this album dropped, and that is Love Deluxe by Sade.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, Ordinary Love. Not Smooth Operator wasn't on there, but you had Ordinary Love. You had was Your Love Is King on there? Um, shoot. Honestly, I think damn near every song off that album was on the billboards for the most part. I know
Mm,
she did like a video for almost every song, but definitely there was quite a few songs off that album that was on the charts for sure. So, of course, I had to do Miss Sade, who is still pushing out music to this day. So, definitely, that is my second choice. So, I went a little pop, rock. So, I got a little good blend this week when it came down to the album.
so my second choice is going to be Stone Temple Pilots Core, their first album from Seattle. So it has Plush and it has Wood on it as well. No, not Wood. It has Plush and songs like that. But Plush is one of those songs that you hear his voice in it. It was rough at the time before he joined Scott Whelan, before he joined like Velvet Revolver and stuff like that. He had the deep
Mm-hmm.
voice and the red hair and the wee beard and all. And it's just him rocking back on the chair and all. And the video was just amazing to it. So this,
Mm.
and it's the first album that I got from America. So it was because my dad went out to Universal Studios at the time, and he came back with that album for me. And it's
Yes.
just, yeah, okay, that album's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah,
All right.
I went rock and grunge, so it is.
Yes. Well, I mean, until you grunge really took over the chart during those years for sure. So we had to expect that a grunge album or song band of some sort was going to be on this list, especially in the early 90s.
Oh, I think it's going to continue on for me. So, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see how different our movie choices are this week. Now, I went first, so I'm gonna let you go first this time. Um, but I will tell you one thing: my two movie choices are very different from each other. So
Right.
give me your best shot.
I don't think no. Well, my two choices are two different ones as well. So, first one is the third and final in the trilogy of the Evil Dead, and that's Army of Darkness, where our
Okay.
hero Ash gets transported back into medieval times and like the Army of Darkness back then. And it's a brilliant comedy slash horror, and you have the boomstick as well in it, so it's everything the guy needs. So it is.
Yes. Yes. I am very familiar with Bruce and his movies, especially Army of Darkness. You can't help but to crack up watching those movies. I just feel like, those
Mm,
were good quality um comedy movies at that time. And I mean, you we had gosh, we had a lot of like comedian actors at that time. We had Chris Farley, we had Jim Carrey, we had um Martin Short, Steve Martin, um who else?
there was a
Quite
lot
a
of
few.
yeah.
Quite a few. Yeah. So okay, all right. That's a strong choice. That's a strong first movie choice. Um, my first movie choice I have to go with is last week it was New Jack City. This week it is Juice with Tupac Shakur. Um, I mean, another movie that just kind of represented New York in that time, in that era. Um, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it or have heard of it at this point, but you just have these four high school friends that, it's just trying to live life in New York during that time. And one of their friends just he wanted to make quick, easy money. And the only way that you could make quick, easy money during that time was either by robbing or selling drugs. And so, for those who've seen the movie, yeah, I know what happened. But I feel like that was the introduction to us as to Tupac as an actor, because we already knew who he was as a rapper. We already knew who he was as an activist of some sort, but this was our first introduction to him as an actor. And, just like I said with about Chester and, and the others that had passed on so early in age, I feel like we got cheated out of
Mm.
seeing an old Tupac. We got cheated out of seeing what he would be like in his 50s, I would think, or at least almost 50, roughly. So, yeah, just about 50. So, yeah, but definitely Juice. That is my first movie choice.
Okay, my second one is going to be a movie called Free Jack. Now it's with Emilio Estevez, Anthony Hopkins, Mick Jagger, and Reese with one of the Reeses. I can't remember which one. That's a love interest, but it's basically Emilio Estevez plays as a race car driver. He gets blown up at the start, but his body gets moved to the years in the future, where it's basically they can rip your body from a time, so an old person becomes a younger version of you, and it's all like that. So Emilio Estevez wakes up and makes a run for it, and he's traveling around. I think it's New York or California at the time. Set
Mm,
future. It's very, very good, like sci-fi movie. So it is.
okay. I don't think I've ever seen it. Sorry, I like. But okay. I don't think I've ever seen that movie though.
I'm coming in with the weird movies, like the weird and
No,
movies.
it's just a lot of movies that, if they wasn't like mainstream or like, you know, like they didn't wasn't like
And
box office hits.
it's more like cult movies.
Mhm.
So it is.
Yeah.
Right. What's
Okay.
your choice then?
My second and last choice of movies this week is a movie that I still watch to this day. I actually watched it a few days ago. I can't get enough of it. I literally know about 90% of the lines of this movie, and that is Death Becomes Her with Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, and Goldie Hawn.
I've
Um,
never seen it.
you never seen Death Becomes Her? Oh my God. It's such uh I guess a cult movie too, it just shows how, women were you have these two women that grew up with each other in some aspects. I guess they like went to high school together and um eventually they fought over the same man. So, Goldie Hawn was with Bruce Willis first. He fell in love with Meryl Streep. He got with Meryl. And then Goldie Hawn, she kind of fixed herself up. And then he kind of like wants the old thing back. And it's really just a movie about, the beauty standards of that time. Um, as what they're called now, being male centered, because they're sitting there fighting over this same man. And ultimately, you know, they end up spending the rest of their lives together, So I don't want to spoil it since you've never seen it, but I guess it will fall under as a comedy movie as well. Um, but yeah, I've seen that movie like 1,001 times in my lifetime. So I will never get tired of it ever. I'll never get tired of that movie, you know.
Hmm.
But just it's another Bruce Willis movie that makes me sad to watch, knowing that he has um a a level of dementia at this point in his career, and for them to kind of explain to his fans that he has no recollection of his career, like he has no idea. He's like one of the most famous actors in the world. So, it's just kind of sad. I feel like I don't want to be insensitive when I say, it would be easier if he was gone. In a sense, I feel like to have someone that you consider a favorite actor to still be alive, but they just aren't who they used to be, it's kind of hard to,
Yeah.
put your mind into that point. But definitely one of my favorite movies of his. But there's a whole lot like Last Boy Scouts, um, uh,
The famous
what?
Christmas movie.
Yes. And people like to say that it's not a Christmas movie. It is for certain a Christmas movie. Um, it's just as Christmas as Home Alone and Jingle All the Way. It is.
Mm.
It's a Christmas movie. It's a
And
Christmas flick. Um, but yeah. So those are my two choices for movies this week. And then of course our last category for this week is TV shows and or episodes. I don't have a particular episode for either one of these shows. Um, but again, just like with the albums, it's very the albums and the movies is very different in comparisons. And I would say my first TV show of this week is Barney and Friends.
oh, the purple dinosaur, get out.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of memories attached to that TV show. Like when I first moved back up to New York from South Carolina and going to school up here. And at the time we was living with my grandmother. My grandmother worked at one school and I was attending another school. And she had this rule if we could get up, dress and eat at by a certain time, we will have enough time to watch at least one TV show before we will head out to school. And that was the one show that I used to watch outside of Lamb Chops Play Along. Um, but yeah, there's just a lot of memories attached to that program, and it just reminds me how easy life was
Mm.
as a kid. No responsibilities, no stress. A little homework here and there. No real um life troubles. So that is my first choice for this week.
So, my one and only TV show for this year, 92. I didn't see this show until I was doing security night shifts, and it would come on like one of the TV channels late at night after 2 o'clock, whenever like TV was winding down and all. So, the TV show is called Renegade. Now, it's about a cop that uh, goes against his like senior cops and goes against him, and then he's like tried and his girlfriend shot. And this is all happening in the first episode. So his girlfriend gets shot, and then he becomes like a bounty hunter. So he does for like Indian and all. And he goes out on his bike. So he's basically a bounty hunter every week, going out on his bike, getting chased by the police because he's still on the run. And it
Mm.
lasted about 3 or 4 seasons. And it's a really good show. So it is.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think
I've
that
never heard of it.
that theme tune is still my ringtone to this day. So it is. It's
All
cool. So it is.
right. Okay. Um, you said it's called Renegade?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well,
Is
hold
it
on.
a
Before we start about TV shows and all, I'm going to ask you a question out of the TV out of this year and all. Have you seen the 2 episodes of It Welcome to Derry yet?
I did.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch that again. No, 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 no.
Why?
After the first episode, holy moly. Won't give any spoilers away, but that Bat Baby thing, nah, that can go in the bed. So it can.
I did watch. Yeah, I watched both of them. Honestly, I do like the direct. I do like the direction of the show.
Mm,
I see like they're coming at us with two types of horror styles. One just being the whole idea of, the whole It franchise and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. The second one is kind of under the surface, but it's there. That is the racism because of the time period that it is in. So we're like dealing with that both at the same time. But yeah, I thought by the second episode, I thought the way the first episode ended was a dream,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but apparently it happened because those kids are gone. So, but now I'm tuned in. And also, for those who are an American Horror Story fanatic like me, we are finally getting another season. And they have, I don't know how much they paid for Miss Jessica Lange to come back, but I love it. I'm glad. We've been dying for her to come back. She left like after 5 or 6 seasons. She said she was done. I think this is season 13, I think
Yeah.
it is. So she is coming back. I'm grateful for that. But yeah, they bringing back everybody. Emma Roberts, Angela Bassett, Kathy Bates, um, Evan Peters, Sarah Paulson is coming back. Ariana Grande is going to be in this season as well.
No,
Um,
you're right.
did I say Evan Peters?
Yep.
Yeah. So, they're bringing back a lot of the old fan favorites, specifically Jessica Lange and Angela Bassett and Kathy Bates. So I'm just really glad that the three of them are coming back. We haven't had them all together
Coven.
Coven,
Yeah.
since
I
Coven. So
and it's going to
I'm
be like
excited.
Coven extra, so this season two to it.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's gonna be very much like Coven. So, I'm excited. That was one of their best seasons.
If they kill Ariana Grande first, I'll be happy.
Why?
Oh, she's just too skinny now, so she is.
Yeah,
Right.
she is. Yeah, she is. Oh, okay. So really quickly, since you only had one TV show choice, I'm just quickly brush through this one. Um, my second TV choice for this week is starting Martin Lawrence, Tisha
Mm,
Campbell's. It was pretty much it was what you would consider it was a very popular black TV show back in the 90s. A lot of characters that we know of today, like Shanae, Hustle Man, um, little Rodney, I think that was his name, little badass boy. It was pretty much it was, I can't think of the term, but it was the peak of, I feel like, black TV after like in Living Single, not in Living Single was years later. In Living Color with the
mm,
Wayans, and then many other shows that will come on later on, like Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, um, and shows of that nature. So those are my two choices. As I told you, they're very different. Martin and Barney couldn't have been more different from each other, but um, yes, those were my choices for this week.
right. So, saying we're going to go for like, I say another 15 minutes. Will we talk about WWE's wrestling for your minute then? And Saturday night's
Yeah,
main event?
yes, definitely. Quick. Uh, well, this wasn't well. Yeah, let's just start off with the matches per se. So we started off the four matches of Saturday night's main event, which I thought, wow, we couldn't come up with a fifth match. No fifth match. Like there wasn't
Well,
nothing worth having a fifth match for. What?
technically, it was 3.5 matches. So it was because the Tiffany and Jada one was pretty quick. So it was in my eyes.
It was. It was. But we did start off the match with the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship with um Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Um a lot of people really thought Cody was going to lose. I said Cody is not going to lose his title on a random Saturday night's main event. I thought you people knew better than that. That was not going to happen, and I have been vindicated. He had retained his title despite the fact that Drew thought he had outsmarted the real American Dream by tricking him into signing a stipulation clause of if he is counted out or disqualified, he will automatically lose the title, which those of us who do watch the show know that a disqualification or a count out is just a loss of the match, but you still retain the title. Now, did I think that somebody was going to interfere in the match? I really did. I thought Jimmy was going to interfere in the match, but he stayed backstage with his brother, and little hints of heel Cody is coming out.
Mm,
As much as people say, that or rather he have said that he can't see himself being a heel, um, or have no desire of being a heel. I think it's going to be a very extremely slow burn. We started seeing it during his match with John Cena at SummerSlam, and we saw it last night at Saturday night's main event. And I think ultimately Cody will turn heel. I think he
yeah,
will. If he's not full heel by Royal Rumble, then I feel like we might see him as a heel probably around WrestleMania.
the look on his face when he smacked Drew McIntyre with the belt with a DTT, he gave that look of being the heel. So I reckon it's going to be January he turns heel proper. Because whenever John Cena goes, I think he'll just come out as heel then.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
I don't know. I don't know who else they could really have Cody go up against unless they continue to push Randy as a face, and ultimately he turns heel in a feud with Randy.
mm, could do. But I was hoping for Drew to win. So it was. Because like I like Drew, and I don't think he's won too many titles in the WWE so far. So give him some,
No. I mean, I
like
like Drew
all
too,
the work.
even though I'm ready for the other Scottish man to kind of replace him at this point, but they keep teasing
Oh,
him. They keep teasing him. I think they're just waiting for his TNA contract to wrap up.
mm. So then the second match was the quickest match, but I think it's give Tiffany time off TV and also give your woman more AEW looking. Like whenever she was smacking her with the power bombs, you could see that happening.
Yeah. Well, this is their way of pushing Jade to look more of like the powerhouse that they had originally showcased her as when she first came to WWE. Then that's what needs to happen. She looked like the way she was supposed to look, and that is someone who could dominate the women's champion, and that's exactly what she did last night. Was it a short match? Yeah. But this is what powerhouses do. When China ever went up against anyone, any woman wrestler, the matches were short.
Mm,
China's matches length lengths grew longer when she was facing up against a male wrestler. So, you know, you couldn't really do that with Naya, even though they have tried in the very beginning, but that is what a powerhouse is supposed to do. They're supposed to come in, they're supposed to smash their opponent and win. It's supposed to be a fast match, and that's what happened yesterday. Now, did it disappoint me that people wasn't necessarily happy that Jay won? It did, because it's like, let's be for real. Tiffany's title reign was boring. It's been boring. She haven't had a lot of title defenses. Um, you tried to shove her down our throats as a face. Tiffany is not a face. She is a heel. Anybody who followed her career in NXT, she is a heel. And I think it was time. So, when it comes down to Jade, I feel like, okay, Jade, now that you have got the title, this is the time for you to prove your haters wrong. And I think now that she does have the title, she will have the confidence to do that. Um, and be a really good champion. Do I feel like this will ultimately lead up to her and Bianca facing each other at some point later on down the line? Absolutely. I do. I think we will finally get what we've been waiting for the last 2 years, that they've teased at WrestleMania, not WrestleMania, at Royal Rumble, of these two ultimately facing up against each other. And if there's anybody that's going to take the title off of Jade, I do feel like it will end up being Bianca.
Do you think they're going to push it for War Games?
I think it'd be too soon.
You never
I
know.
think it'd be too soon.
Mm,
I mean, no. All I think all we could do is just hope that Bianca will be in War Games. Because Dave Melzer, or Dave needs to retire Melzer. He did push out that there was no set time for Bianca's return. However, it came out yesterday that she was in town for SmackDown this past Friday. So, I guess she'll be back a lot sooner than the information he was told. So, at some point, I do hope that they announce that she will be in War Games, but I don't think that they will push for them to feud as of yet. It has to build. It has to build, um, and it has to be a really good storyline, just like when Jade got thrown on top of the car and they had that beautiful story going on about who pushed her. Was it Bianca? Was it Naomi? And it later came out that it was Naomi. So um, just build it. No need to rush it. Just build it. So by the time WrestleMania, because that's what people want to see it at, they want to see it at WrestleMania. Um, Maybe Bianca will get her opportunity to face Jade at WrestleMania and continue her streak and become champion at WrestleMania against Jade. That's how I would like to see it. Also, a little side note, I guess Ludwig and Tiffany has broken up.
yep.
El Grande Americano was seen with the one of the WWE Spanish hosts. You know, if I was Charlotte, I would feel so vindicated, because when I was on my other past podcast that I used to do up until earlier this year, I had to fight tooth and nail to defend Charlotte with that whole 3-0 or 0-3 comment that Tiffany made. And even then I said, look, despite her having 3 divorces, she had 3 marriages, which you have none. So, before you throw a woman's divorce in her face, try to get married once. And who knew that her and Ludwig was gonna break up before the year is out, just months later. So shout out to Ludwig for finding him a nice little cute little Latina. She's pretty. It fits in his character of El Grande Americano, and I wish Tiffany well, and rest up, champ. You lost your man, you lost your title. It's down bad for Taffy time.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about the funnest match of the night then for the what's it for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, with Dominique Mysterio, Dirty Dominique Mysterio, the king of lucha wrestlers
I
or luchas.
match. He's gone high in my books. So he has.
I think yesterday was the first time I saw Dominique and I saw Eddie in him.
Mm.
And that, since we're coming up to Eddie's birthday, I think his birthday is coming up this month. Um, that is probably the biggest compliment I could give Dominique. I do see a lot of Eddie in him, and I think he's living up to his name. Also with one of Eddie's daughters now getting into wrestling, so I wouldn't be surprised if around sometime next year she'll probably end up being in NXT at some point, or maybe NXT adjacent like Evolved or something, but I can definitely see them wanting to at least have one of Eddie's children in the company. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But I thought that was a really good match. Dominique, he did what he was supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do to retain his title. I hate that they keep playing in Penta's face. I really thought it was gonna be Penta's time. Um, but I thought they said this was his first title opportunity. So, I guess not as of yet, but he will get a title um sooner rather than later. And it sucks for Rusev. It sucks for him, but the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And Dominic did what he had to do to take Rusev out.
Yeah.
He
The
went
way he
down.
went in and then Dirty Dom was hitting the ring bell. I thought that was brilliant.
Yes, yes, yes. It was a really good match, and Dominic, he's going to, he's the only one currently in Judgment Day that has a title, and not just one title, he has two. So I feel like at some point Judgment Day will turn on him. At least Finn and JD ultimately might turn on him.
Oh, it's in the books. So it is.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm trying to see exactly how they're going to play this out now that we know that Liv is not really scheduled to come back until next year, the top of next year. So, well, I say that as though we're not in November. Like, we literally have 2 months left of the year. So, before you know it, it will be 2026. So, I'm sure that they'll come up with something to kind of hold Judgment Day together for the duration until she returns.
Yeah. And then we talk about the final match where I have problems with. So my only problems is with Usos. I don't think they should be singles. I think they should be like the tag team, like the Young Bucks are. They should just stay as a tag team because this Yeet thing has just got so out of hand now. I don't like it. I don't want to see it anymore. As a single
Mm.
competitor, I don't want to see it no more.
Um, You know, I if I was a writer right now, I would I mean, I feel like they have done all that they could do with them as tag teams, as champions, as tag team champions. You know, Jay have gone up as high as being a world champion. Um, all in the same year. A
Mm,
world champion and intercontinental champion, all in the same year. I feel like it's time to at least give Jimmy an opportunity to be a singles title holder. The only way that's going to happen is by writing a feud between them two.
yeah,
Um, I think if I was somehow a writer, I would push for um Jay to kind of have a kind of like a crash out breakdown of some sort, you know, just like completely just um be completely unstable. The same way Roman has, you know, like since you are building Jay to be up like Roman, then I feel like Jay needs to be having the same reactions as Roman has. Like Roman, when he lost his title, he disappeared for months and then he came back and had to ultimately befriend the guy who took the title from him. Um, so if you're going to do that with Jay, to at least give Jimmy an opportunity to have a singles title before he takes his break, you know, when Naomi comes closer to giving birth, now will be the time to put that battery on Jimmy's back. And for that to happen, you have to have Jay kind of turn on Jimmy to the point where Jimmy can't forgive him. You know, like the whole knocking him out the ring during the battle royal situation, that should be like the tip of the iceberg. I feel like there should be more things that Jay does to the point where Jimmy is just like, okay, you really can't stand the idea that I might have an opportunity to be a singles champion like you and really, you know, cause them a feud. If you want to um, put them in a tag team situation later on down the line, sure. But, you know, Jay already kind of let it out that he doesn't know how many years he has left in him. And I don't know if they really want to. He's gotten a taste of being a singles champion. I don't know if he really wants to take a step backwards. You know, like it works for the Hardys. It works for them because honestly, um, I don't know if we could have the Hardys by themselves. We had Matt by himself. Um, People cared, but so much. You had Jeff by himself. I think the stress of being by himself is what ultimately made him leave WWE to begin with. You had them two together in AEW, and when Matt's contract ended, Jeff pretty much just asked for his to be ended as well, so he could be with his brother. So they know that works for them. You know,
mm,
um, but to bring back to my original point, I think Jimmy deserves to have a moment where he can, um, have his time in the sun.
yeah,
And if that means he gotta take out his own brother, then that's probably what he's going to do. Because I feel like at some point Jimmy is going to want to get Jay, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Right, come on then. Let's do conspiracy theory hats on now. For John Cena's last match, who's it going to be? The 16 members can be Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and then he said some people who are not on the roster.
Yep, some faces that don't work here. Well,
I know who I'm picking, and we've spoke about it in the past, me and you off air.
we have. We
So,
have. I have two selections.
right, you go for your two selections, and then I'll tell you how I'm going to pick it.
My first selection is due to a lot of the tributes that both men have been um, doing to, doing for each other in their own separate matches, and that will be Edge.
Oh,
I wonder if they could possibly make some type of arrangements to where John Cena can have his final match with Edge,
mm,
because John Cena has paid tribute to Edge in his matches, and Edge has done the same in his match with Christian against FTR. As we now know, Edge has been written off due to what FTR did to Beth Phoenix, so he is spending time with his family. But this could be the perfect opportunity for him to at least have that one final match for with John Cena for his retirement. Now that's one option, because I do feel like whoever it's going to be is probably someone that's not there or who does not
mm,
work there. My second choice, which is pretty interesting, but I have seen a lot of people pushing for that, even this man himself, and that is Joe Hendry. And I think it will be more of a passing of the torch type of thing. Um, Not so much of a, let's give this guy the match that he wants. I think it'd be more so of, I see you and I see you have a potential of being a really big deal in the WWE, and this is me passing um the torch to you, to being a possible face of the company. It's like when Joe had his match with Randy at WrestleMania. So, those are my two choices.
okay then. Right, so my choice, I reckon it's going to be 16 names pop up on the board, going
Mhm.
down the line like a grid. And I reckon the last name's going to be not there, and I'm going to go for Bo Dallas.
Mhm.
So, and I'm going to have it where near the end of it, Bo Dallas is going to come back as Bo Dallas, not Uncle Howdy, nothing like that. And he's going to win it. And then, because it's going to be emotional, and I think John Cena did get emotional with the whole Firefly thing and all in his last match. So I reckon it's going to be him at the end, and then it's just going to be like the lights are going to go down, the Fireflies are going to come out. But before that, all the promos and all are going to be Bo Dallas slipping into Uncle Howdy. So would I. And I reckon
Okay.
that's how it's going to end.
All right, cool. We lost vision of
Yeah.
you, but we heard you. Um, but okay, yeah. I mean, either way, I am more so interested if they are going to let John win his final match. I feel like that
I think
makes,
they've got to.
I mean, do they? A lot of people had their retirement matches and they didn't win.
Aye, but John Cena's been there forever. Like, he's never went to another, like, company or anything like that. He's always been loyal to the very end.
Yeah, but John Cena is always one to say like he doesn't need to be pushed. He's been pushed enough, you know. His thing is to push the next generation. This
Yeah.
is why the retirement is happening now, you know, because he doesn't want to be one of those wrestlers that's just still camping around, you know, and taking the opportunities from the newer and younger wrestlers. Like he wants to, he did his, he did his job, and now he wants to be the one to kind of pass it on to the next person. So I think depending on who he faced, I think John Cena would be okay with losing his last match. I think he'd be okay with losing. I
Mm,
think I think he would kind of insist that he loses his last match. And it's going to make it more emotional. It will make it
yeah.
definitely more emotional. But you know, but I think it's about that time. We actually ran a little longer than we normally would.
Don't
Oh,
worry,
half
I'll keep it
hour.
online next week.
Yes, but yeah, so thanks for those who have tuned in. Make sure that you leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Next week we will be tapping into 1993, which I think will be a very interesting episode because there's a lot of things, a lot of um, a lot of good things that came out that year. Um, and that's a very significant year for me. So yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Of course, Gavin has became John Cena because we can't see him, but he is still with us. And and thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Bye.